In this video, I'm going to be talking all about upgrading. Like, what is an upgrade? Why do we upgrade? And, how do we kind of like better support our systems in kind of like getting through it? Because I've been thinking a lot actually since the new moon that was yesterday. This whole season, let's call it, kind of kicked in around about September. It really ramped up to the next level energetically. And we've been like just sandwiched between eclipses and portals and upgrades. And the energy is just getting higher and higher and higher. So consequently, so are we. So I wanted to share with you what an upgrade is all about, because we've been talking about it, and sometimes there's a lot of words that get spoken about and we're like, what exactly is that though? Or what is the fullness of the experience? So this is what I'm going to share with you now. Stick around to the end because I'm going to give you Marie's tips on how she gets through it, which is albeit a little bit three wheels on the cart, but you know what, nonetheless I get out the other side and I didn't die because I'm here. So I think that I have a level of success with these upgrades. So now we're sitting comfortably. So what is an upgrade? So an upgrade can come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Like, this is why it gets so confusing. So an upgrade is basically up leveling in our systems. So let's go right back to the beginning, as to how energy comes in to upgrade your system. Okay, because remember, when you're upgrading, you have to purge all the darkness to get onto a higher level of light. That is why we go through the sickness, the illness, the headaches, and all the rest of it. So light comes in, but it can't vibe with the light and the dark and the shadow. The light comes in and it pushes that out the other side. And I've spoken about this many times, the process of this. So light comes in from, let's just say, from source, okay? From spirit, whatever you want to call it, from the sun, solar flashes, solar flares, energy comes in, okay? And what happens is it comes at the speed of light, comes super fast. And then when it hits your energy field, you're coming through the spiritual body, the emotional body, the mental body, and then the physical body, okay? But first of all, it hits your energy field. So it slows down a little bit, but it's still quite fast. So you start to feel funky emotions and feel a little bit off. And then eventually when it gets to the physical body, which is the most densest body, because for teaching purposes, go with 4 bodies: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Some people do it in different orders, whatever. There's 4. That's the best way to look at this. So it comes through the light body super quick, but when it gets to the physical body, it's dense. This is where we hold all the sticky, sludgy, ingrained stuff. So that's why the body gets sore. That's why you get so tired, because it's a lot slower process to integrate that light. Integrating the light means you've got to push out the darkness, the old shit you don't need. You can't all live in there. Do you know what I mean? It's got to go. So that's why we go through those processes of very, very dark emotional stuff, because the lights come in, it's squeezed through your spiritual energy light body. It's now come through the mental body. You start thinking things, then emotionally you're like, oh my God, it feels so terrible. And then eventually you're getting to the physical body and then you're just tired, man. So that's kind of like the energetic process of what goes on when the light comes in. So it's landing, it's giving you an upgrade, right? Because you're embodying more light in your being. And when that happens, you unlock. I've always likened the upgrade process to a game of Tetris. Because it's a game with a capital GAME and we're all in it, okay? So the light comes in, and what happens when you lock this with this and that fits there, and then all of a sudden you get a flat row, it just pings into a million stars, then everything's like clear, and then you can go through the building process. That's basically your spiritual path 101. Maybe I should just end it there on the video because that's it. So once you get everything that fits in nicely, and then it's all just like, because think about it when it doesn't fit and you're a bit like wonky, you keep building, and it's dysfunctional. So you've got to quickly get this to match with that. It's a jigsaw piece puzzle. There's an aha moment. Wow, stars, this is amazing. Go on to the next level. So that is ascension, okay? So there's no different to in our physical bodies, right? So that's basically what the upgrade is all about. So when our frequency raises higher, we unlock more, think about it as doorways, libraries, codes, information. We unlock more of our divine wisdom within. Our personal power comes online, and we start to become more and more of who we really are, which is basically ascended masters walking on earth. We're all part of that same consciousness, that oneness consciousness, fully abundant in flow. There's no worry about anything being in scarcity and lack. We're in our power, in our truth. We're in our hearts, right? That is what we're working towards. So an upgrade is just giving you more and more and more of that. Now, getting more specific about the person, the being, the individual, what I call the personality. Okay, so Marie has a certain mission in her life to work with the conscious creators. I'll call myself a construction worker. When people say to you, well, what line of work are you in, Marie? I'm like, well, I'm in construction. Straight away, they scratch their head thinking, wow, she works on a building site. I kind of do, but I'm energetic. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's what my body of codes is all about, working with the highest level of creation codes to help others recognize that. You might find that someone else works in, I don't know, like maybe childhood trauma, or somebody else has gifts and abilities on just to make people laugh. Comedians have a certain mission and purpose. They can make us laugh. That's the highest vibration. So we're all very unique in our design because we have a unique soul design. So what I'm unlocking is going to be different to what you're unlocking, and that's the beauty of it. So just imagine your body as a sacred temple, sacred architecture. I call it the Temple of Light. And in your Temple of Light, every room you go into, the more you embody the codes, the more you nail that game of Tetris, the more you unlock, and you gain access to more secret chambers which have got esoteric knowledge and wisdom in your Temple of Light. You get access to more and more parts of that Temple of Light which holds all the magical stuff which you've been holding in your being for a very long time. This is what it's all about. So each time we upgrade, that's kind of what's going on, which is why we're all getting crystal clear in a lot to do with what we know we don't want to do and more to do with kind of like what we do want to do. This is all to do with the upgrades, okay? So that's kind of like move me on to my second part of what I'm talking about here. Why do we upgrade? We have to, because at the end of the day, it's density, and density's got to go. And what you clear for yourself, you clear for all. You clear for your ancestral line, and you clear for everyone, because we're one consciousness, which is when you understand that, and you understand your incarnation at this time, upgrading and going through what we're going through in this timeline. You agreed to incarnate one of the hardest lifetimes ever, which is why only those who know, and only those which has got the power, which is you, because you're watching this video, have agreed to incarnate at this time, because we weren't going to book out. We certainly weren't going to die again to come and repeat this shit. That's for sure. I've even said that. I say, I ain't doing this again. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not. If I come back, I'm coming to the new earth, but I'm not doing this. Just FYI, put it into the big boss and let him know that's what's happening. Okay. Or rather not happening. So yeah. So why upgrade? So basically you have a mission that you've agreed to complete on. It doesn't necessarily mean that you may be like me, where I'm like, I'm going to go and work with all the spiritual sites all over the world. I'm going to unlock Egypt and all that. That's my gig. That's what I want to do. You may find that you've been living in misery like for most of your life. Maybe you've got dysfunctional families. Maybe it's just all about conditional love and you haven't had unconditional love in your life. And maybe you're just like zero support in your life. And now all of a sudden you're kind of like moving into going, wow, I'm really supported. I feel really connected to spirit. Maybe that's your mission. And maybe it's just for you to be so happy and peaceful, finding your inner peace and knowing how to live in that vibration. Maybe that's your mission. So let's not get it twisted that it's all about going out and doing big things. Because I talk about working with the conscious creators and how the Heka codes, which is the frequencies of alchemy I'm working with one-on-ones. Yes, it can help people with a body of work, but you must remember you are also a conscious creation. This is my conscious creation. This is my body of work, like literally my body of work. This is my house. And I have to keep the spiritual vessel super clean, but I also have another mission that I've chosen to do as well. So this is where it begins and ends, basically. Do you know what I mean? So you are your own conscious creation. So the upgrades will be very much like this is it and this is all. Because at the end of the day, if you are in suffering, you are not in your stillness. Period. If you are in suffering, you're still in your sacred shadow. So that is why that's why we're all going through upgrades, to get rid of this shit. Okay. Because it's about being peaceful. It's about being connected, supported, loved, feeling safe, actually. And that's a big mission on its own. So that's what we're upgrading to. So now I just want to share with you, this is the bit at the end, that I have my own little formula that helps me, because this is where we kind of build into this crescendo in the video. because this is where it all goes a bit tits up, doesn't it? So we understand, we watch the videos, we speak to friends, we go, oh my God, big energy is coming in. Oh my God, I feel so sick. I'm upgrading, and we get it all, right? But then, oh, that old friend resistance comes up and we start pushing against it, and we flat refuse to lie down on our beds and kind of like assist our systems in integrating what's going down. And I still run that program, and I always jest about it. I say I'm resisting because I love it. I just love resistance, and I just do it often because I like it. That's a lie. I don't like it at all. But what happens is we kind of go, I'm so tired, but I got to carry on going. But we're now very, very quickly realizing that when we lie down and let go and just be still like broccoli and just lie on your bed, you know what I mean? Doing your best impression of a piece of celery, just lie there. And you will see how much energy shifts through you, because the energy is so high now. That's all we have to do. Before, we had to really work through the layers to allow ourselves to like stop resisting. So I'm going to give you my little bit of a formula that helps me. And it all depends on what stage of your integration you're in. But number one, okay, is high bursts of energy, meaning activity, meaning exercise. Now, I was an exercise specialist for 19 years, so I know working energy through the physical body. In the beginning, I used to do it to keep myself thin and look good. Now, when I exercise, I do it to shift frequency, to shift energy. It doesn't mean you've got to go and do an hour of CrossFit. Just basically doing, like, imagine going out on a field and just doing like 2 30-second sprints. Maybe that's a bit long, but you know what I'm saying? Bursts of energy. 2, because you're trying to shift the energy, work it out the body. You'll be so surprised how simple and effective that is. Doing like 5 minutes of just like sun salutations. Move the energy, okay? Keep going, and then just sit back. It's not a training session. You are shifting frequency. So think about that. Very, very powerful, okay? Also, breath work. Breath work is amazing. I work with my alchemical breath, where I sit and I focus on the base of the spine, and I inhale, I close the back of the throat off, bringing in the ocean breath, the ujjayi breath, and I bring the breath all the way to the top. Inhale, and circular breath, exhale, and inhale, and I make it super loud, my breath. Inhale, exhale. Also, another way to breathe as well is the fire breath, where I'm going to show you now. You literally go so as you go, the belly expands. As you belly sinks. Do that for 20 breaths, hold. Do that for 20 breaths, hold. Do that for 20 breaths, hold. Then see where your energy's at. It may not completely get you back into alignment, but it will help shift the energy through, because integration and upgrading is a process. It's not going to change overnight, but it certainly helps you move the energy through. Then sleep. It's the best way. Get out the way of yourself and let the higher ups do what they got to do. Integrate. You're sat here in your mind resisting. It's got to go through that filter. Get out the way of yourself. Let it flow. Let it go. Get on your bed. Sleep. I don't care what time of day it is. Just do it. Okay. And then the final one is give yourself a day off. This is the ultimate of not resisting, okay? How do you create space? Because essentially what you're trying to get to is loving kindness. Resistance comes from a place of like, oh my God, you're so tired, but you got to keep going. That's not loving kindness, and that's not going to give you anything. Action comes from inaction. It's the way of the Tao, okay? Action comes from inaction. So when you turn around and say, do you know what? Today I feel very unwell. I'm going to commit with all of my fears and all the bullshit. I'm going to commit, and I'm going to give myself the day off, and I'm going to tell everybody that needs to know I'm going to have today off, or even tomorrow. I'm going to take 2 days off. You create space. Tell me how you feel after you've done that. All of a sudden, your integration, up-leveling, upgrading process will be a lot smoother. Create the space. Love you. Do you. So you can do the most important thing, more so than errands or anything like that. Upgrade, up-level. If you do that, it will move through quicker. You try and drag it on through and push on through, you're going to take twice the time. You know what I mean? So that is my sharing for today on how to integrate up-leveling and upgrading. So I hope that was helpful.